Hey guys, how you doing? This is One Big Bat with more Dota 2. And as you can see, this is Beastmaster. This is another replay cast, and I will be going over Beastmaster, his general strategies, a lot of his powers and abilities, and how you use those effectively to have a good game with Beastmaster. During this game, I do not build a standard build for Beastmaster. A lot of the items you see in the core build are situation items. These are decent items to get on him. Definitely, I end up picking up a magic wand. I actually go naked wand and tango. I think that's a pretty good start for him because you get the three attributes that you would get from GG branches mixed in there by getting the full-on wand. You have enough survivability with the tango early on. If you need to get more, as long as you have a courier that's up, which you should in almost every game that you play, unless you have a really bad support that doesn't buy it. But you should be fine in lane with just 3 tangos and naked wand. Plus, having the naked wand up, if people do tend to spam spells on you, you're going to end up getting your charges. So I think it's a pretty decent choice because you always have the option of sending out more regen if you actually need it. But I think the fact that Beastmaster has a really good last hit animation, that this can be a viable option as a start for him. It also frees up a lot of space so that you can get to buying boots and the other items that you want to buy for him right away. Without worrying about having to get the wand recipe out to yourself because you have like 3 GG branches, plus you have a health pot and this, and maybe a wand or something that you start with. So, I mean, again, it's subjective, but I'm confident enough in my play at this point that I say, naked wand and tangos is viable. Again, depending on how well you are at playing Dota at this point, you might want to go for more regen. A more standard build would be to say, start with the basic wand, which is 200 gold, and you could get a health pot, a salve, and a tango, and then 3 GG branches, and then you'll have to send out the recipe to yourself. So that would be a more standard one. It's a little safer that way, but I just go for the maximum wand. But again, it's completely subjective as to which is best. Again, a more standard build for him would be to go for an early Necronomicon, possibly picking up a Blink Dagger for your initiation. Aghanim's is another possibility, simply because it's going to give him more tankability, as well as giving more. I believe it gives the stun duration a longer duration, and I believe it shortens the cooldown, if I'm not mistaken. But I might be. I haven't picked up the Aghanim's for Beastmaster. I have, but I don't do it regularly. I don't believe. I definitely max out necro. I think necro 3 is a good option for him because if you go necro 3. The warrior in the necro 3 actually has true sight. So then if you have invis heroes, which you will tend to have at least one invis hero on the opposing team in quite a few of your random match-made games, then having the necro 3 up is going to allow you to then have true sight and to see that invis hero whenever they go on you. So building up and getting a necro 3 is a really good, viable option on him. So I definitely encourage it, although, as I said, I don't go for a standard build in this game. Another good option other than the necro is to have some, which is not really put in here, but I would say get some type of regen option on this hero. I think you can go naked morbid mask early on is good because they have suggested drums of endurance, but his attack speed once you get into late game, because of inner beast, it goes up. It has a bonus 40 attack speed. I think this becomes a little redundant. You know, you're just getting an additional 5 attack speed. So I mean, like, I don't understand why they would suggest to put drums on him, but you know, I guess it has some synergy. It makes his attack speed even faster, so that is an option that you can get. but I think that he has enough attack speed that getting something, some type of regen again, you could early on just go with the naked morbid mask right off the bat, which is going to help his jungling quite a bit, which is what I would probably suggest. Probably go morbid mask into Helm of the Dominator, which I do during this game, but I would probably say like I actually bring it all the way up to a satanic, and again, that's because I end up, I believe, getting quite a bit of farm in this game. But I would probably say that you could probably just stop at the Helm of the Dominator, and that's going to be really effective synergy with this character, because now one thing that a lot of people, they end up getting Helm of the Dominator, but then they don't end up dominating any creeps with it. But on this hero, who is definitely a very solid macro hero, I would definitely suggest picking up the Helm of the Dominator and then using it to specifically target the Hellbears and the Centaur creeps. And I think you don't really need to go up to Satanic. I mean, I ended up, again, going that far because I got quite a bit of farm in this game, but probably just stop at the Dominator, and then you want to focus more on the Necronomicon, and also getting a heart. Heart's good for him because it's going to give him the passive regen when he's out of combat. It's also strength based, and he's a strength based hero, so getting that plus 40 strength is going to boost his stats quite a bit. So I would probably concentrate on getting necro, again, Helm of the Dominator, and a Heart of Tarask, and then possibly an Aghanims. But that's quite a bit of farm that you're probably not going to see for this guy. Most people are going to probably focus on the Necronomicon as the main thing. Definitely, obviously, you know, before you get any of that, you're going to also have your power treads up too. But let me go ahead and start the game now that I discussed a more practical build for him, and you'll see what I end up doing in this game. Now, if you've watched some of my other Dota playthrough casts or playthrough recasts, you know that I've been working on macro heroes quite a bit. And I wouldn't say it's a perfect game with Beastmaster, but I do a lot of good stuff within this game.
Got a feeling this is gonna be good.
Again, the build's pretty subjective. And we're doing some creep blocking here. Basically, if you stand in front of the creep wave, you're able to slow it down a little bit, and it's able to end up closer to your tower. This top wave, I mean, it usually has a range between somewhere here and then somewhere around the mid part of this tree line. That it can fluctuate depending on how well it's creep blocked, but I don't think that they creep blocked at all. This is generally the area where it ends up. We didn't do that good of a job creep blocking it. And I don't think we would have wanted it any closer than where it is, or else the tower would have started doing damage on them, and it would have ended up in us pushing the wave towards them, which is what you don't want. You want your the creep wave to be generally right here, so that yeah, see, now the tower is going to push it somewhat, but you want it to be close to your tower so that you can just sit there and last hit. You want to avoid auto attacking, and you want to keep the creeps in this general range so that you have safe farm close to your tower. They really can't risk getting too close, or else the tower is going to hit them. And I kind of did a waste with that axe spam. I didn't really accomplish much. I shouldn't have done that there. You know, the only thing I really accomplished is wasting my mana. It gave a little harass, but it really wasn't much. It would have been better for me to keep that mana for a situation where they were more low health, and I would have been able to pull off a gank. Let's talk about my actual abilities and what they do. Basically, I started with Call of the Wild. The reason I started with Call of the Wild is Call of the Wild basically gives you a free ward in the Hawk, and once you get to level 2, you are also able to create a Boar. The Boar has a poison that he shoots out, and the poison actually slows down the movement speed of things that it's attacking. So he's a lot of fun. And I try to maximize this first because once you get to the higher levels of the hawk gains an invisibility. Right now, the hawk, once it's cast, is visible to everybody on the map. So
Dire's top tower's getting beat down.
if it's seen,
About Dire's structures right now.
more than likely it's going to end up feeding the enemy team because they're going to go on it and kill it
You know the drill.
just to destroy your vision. Like he did right there. And it's giving him gold, so.
The Dire might want to mine their top tower.
In order to prevent your hawk from feeding and also to increase the range of its vision, you want to get that leveled up as quickly as possible. Again, spamming axes isn't really all that efficient, especially at early levels. It doesn't do all that much damage, so there's really no point in maximizing your axes right away. I would say you're better off to maximize your boar. Again, it depends on situation. You know, if you had to take this guy to mid, which is possible, you can have Beastmaster as a ganker if you play him mid. I mean, obviously he's not going to be as effective as, say, a Queen of Pain, but he can be played as a mid, using Roar as a ganking tool. But then you would probably want to maximize your axes. But if you're going to be in lane, I think getting the Call of the Wild up to the maximum level so that you're capable of having a very wide free ward is going to pay off for you. And you can see just, I don't even need axes right now. Just between the damage I'm doing and the boar, we're able to pick him off when he's low health. Now again, if I hadn't gone around spamming my axes as much as I had, I would have probably had enough mana regen to get off the axes there while he's low target health. So spamming it early probably cost me that kill there. So again, try to avoid what I was doing there, which I was using to spam the axes. You can use the axes to get some last hit. So if you're gonna say, if you have, say, 2 last hits that are really close and you think you can get them with axes, it might be worth it because, you know, that's like 80 some gold that you can pick off real quick. So you can consider that, but for the most part, try to avoid spamming your axes when you don't have that much mana regeneration early on. Now I can't remember if I'm building a Basilius at this point or if I'm considering getting Tranquil Boots, because I have gotten Tranquil Boots on Beastmaster before. I think I've started to move away from that now, but I have done it before. And I think it is viable if you're going to go for jungle, if you're not going to have any type of regen. If you don't plan on making, say, a Morbid Mask or anything, then it's okay to get the Tranquil Boots because you can always switch them to Treads later. But I would say probably Treads are much better on him, just for the attack speed, which has synergy with his number 3 ability, which increases attack speed. Another thing to keep in mind is Wild Axes is, if you look at the damage, it says it's composite damage, and that means it's both physical and magical. And the good thing about that is it actually goes through magic immunity. So guys like Lifestealer that pop their rage and then are immune to magic damage, they're not immune to Wild Axes. And they're also not immune to his Primal Roar, which even though it's magical damage, it actually goes through magic immunity. Yeah. Oh, actually, it says right here what the upgrade for the Aghanim Scepter is. It increases the stun duration. Yeah. I believe. Maybe I'm misreading it wrong. No, it just says it's upgradable. It's not saying how or what it does with Aghanims. Sorry, I was misreading that. Anyway, you can see, like, now that I'm at a level 3 Hawk, the level 3 Hawk has invisibility now. And you can see that its range has vastly increased. You can see that big wide circle that it's providing as far as vision. Now I could have probably, now that I got level 3 Hawk, I could have probably switched and gotten higher levels of axes. But actually maximizing this just leaves the Hawk and the Boar up a little bit longer. It gives them another 10 seconds. So I think a well macroed Beastmaster can be super effective. And I'm getting a little Boar harass. I didn't want to move too far forward. I ended up feeding my Boar, but I didn't want to take too much damage because I don't have any regen on me. So I just macroed him, go in. Again, the Wild Axes was kind of a waste because I didn't get any last hits with it. Didn't hit anybody really with it. Yeah, and I'm kind of putting him in the trees. I could put him out in the middle and get more vision. I actually moved him there. But there's a wait time before his invisibility kicks in. So I was kind of being cautious with him right away. And yeah, he plopped a clarity on me, which was very nice of him. And now we have a carry here. And I backed up just to grab this, what's coming to me faster. Yeah, I did end up going Tranquil Boots, which again, I think it's good if you're going jungle, but I don't think it was good for the build that I ended up going because as I said, I went for Helm of the Dominator, so it's kind of redundant to have the regeneration from the Tranquil Boots and eventually the Morbid Mask. And I didn't have much time where I was actually benefiting from both of those things, so I think it would have been better if I went Treads this game. But I had played quite a few games. I think this might have been one of the first games that I decided to go with the actual regen of the Morbid Mask and then eventually the Helm of the Dominator into Satanic for jungling. I think before I had just used the Tranquil Boots, so that's maybe why I kept using it. Now you can see I'm using the Boar to scout and to see people that are incoming. Now that we have up the River Ward that was placed here, now by pushing this guy forward, and I can actually pull him down to here, and I think I do that later. But I'm basically getting a full coverage because these creeps are giving us vision here, this gives us vision here, and then that guy there shows me that what's going on, and I pulled him back so I could see in the jungle. Getting a little harass damage, kind of a waste. Didn't really do much. But I'm in a good position now because I have the Tranquil Boots. Not getting much in the way of last hits simply because I don't have a lot of regen. I would be a little bit more bold, or I should be a little bit more bold now that I have the Tranquil Boots up. But unfortunately, Jakiro isn't up top, so I'm kind of soloing the lane, so I have to be cautious just because of that. I think the idea that I had was that I'm missing out on a lot of blast hits, and the reason I'm missing out on those last hits is because of Kunkka's ability. See how he used that sword and it did the splash damage onto me? I was kind of hesitant to move up because he can continue to get me low with that cleave ability. And I didn't want Kunkka to get me too low and then have Silencer pick me off. So that's why I was playing super cautious here. Yeah, you can see I have like both of these guys up here, so it's a little difficult.
Dire's top tower's getting beat down. No breaking through the dire structures for now.
Do a little macro work with the Boar. Send him in, scare Silencer off. Yeah, and when people get hit with that slow, they'll tend to back off. And I switched him over to him, but I had the Boar cooldown, came back off, so I got him right back up. And I went right back on him. I think we're able to switch over. Yeah, and he got stuck in a macro pyre. Now, what happens with the ship is if he positions the ship wrong, it'll go right over you and not do anything. And I think I picked off Silencer here. Yeah. Yeah, you don't always have to run for the ship. If he hasn't positioned it right, it'll pass right over you. So I think he's a little inexperienced with Kunkka.
Radiant's top tower's in bad shape.
I'm just farming these right now. But you see I'm keeping up this ward so I can see everything that's going on in the jungle. I think that's one of the strongest things. That's why I really love this hero, is all of the little options that he has. I don't know why I didn't get that farm from that creep. But yeah, I think my last hitting's pretty atrocious in this video, to be quite honest. But this is an early game, I think. I want to say it's an early game. Actually, no, this isn't one of the first games I played with him, but I was still kind of deciding on how I was going to build him. So there's a lot of iffy decisions that I make in this game because I was still experimenting with the character, kind of deciding how I was gonna go with him. That's why the end build is pretty crazy that I end up with him.
Double damage. Dire's mid tower won't last much longer.
But I ended up picking up a lot of kills early on, so... Well, not all that early on, but... with reasonable frequency that I'm able to do a lot of farming. Or build up a lot of farm.
Radiant's mid tower's coming apart.
You see, whenever I was in that fight, I made sure that I popped my my beasts, and then I immediately did a control window over them. Now, I didn't macro away the hawk. I mean, the hawk could have died in that fight, but that's fine. I mean, in that situation, I didn't really have time to macro him away. But definitely popping the beasts was good, because by popping it, I did some extra damage with the boar, and that's what helped me pick up a kill there. You can see I'm kind of deciding where I want to place the hawk forward, because we have the river ward, so that's giving me extra vision in their area. I think I finally decided that the best spot was over here, like where this kind of temple structure is, and I think I eventually moved there. And I think that's a superior spot because you do get some lane vision, but you also see all of this in here. So you can see somebody that's coming to the secret shop, if they're over there. If somebody comes to plant a ward here, you can see all of that. So I think that's actually a little bit of a better spot if you have a ward already that's in a river, to plant them over here so that you can see behind here and what's going on in this area as well. And I think that's when I finally made the decision to try out that spot. No, maybe I stopped there at the secret shop for a minute before I figured out the best spot. But I actually use the hawk quite a bit, and I think that it makes a huge difference. You're gonna get some people that they just take the hawk and they stick them at the ward spots. But in my opinion, that's like one of the worst things you could do with this hero. I mean, you have supports in the game, let the supports ward. You know, that's their job, let them ward. You should take that, the advantage of having this basically movable ward that has a huge swath of vision. I mean, you can look at this circular AoE of all of this vision that you're getting and constantly use it to move around the map. And I'm pinging for some assistance because I can see all these guys incoming on me. I don't see the guy behind me coming up, but I see these two. Got some harass damage. And the boar's almost up, so I'll probably be popping him up soon. Yeah, finally somebody showing up. And yeah, and then now I'm picking. Now I see how many people are actually up here now, and I'm keeping him basically in the woods just so he kind of saved me. Or he saved them because he popped that silence. Yeah, I had to move out of the way of the ship, and then by the time I probably I should have stopped earlier and started turning back towards my guy, and I might have been able to save Pudge here. I'm not sure if he gets away or not. Yeah, I was trying to send a boar on him to slow him down a little bit, but a little difficulty. Ended up feeding the boar, but I tried to save the hawk, but I think it ends up dying from the creeps anyway. Yeah. I think it was just a bad team fight. I think if we had guys had TP'd a little bit earlier, we could have set up a little bit better for that fight. I think that was the biggest issue there. I think at this point now I have the, well obviously I have the Helm of the Dominator now. And I think this is a pretty solid choice on Beastmaster. I think I'm going to roll with the Helm of the Dominator more often. I'm basically just trying to scout out, trying to decide where to put this so it's best for the team fight that's coming, and it's going to give me the most vision. Now the river ward, as you can see, is gone, the one that was over here, so I don't see people coming up here, but I want to make sure that I can see everybody that's coming up through this woods and in this jungle, so I'm sacrificing a little bit here so that I can have more vision here and see what they're up to. A little harass damage, didn't really do much. I would have been better off to just use that for getting some last hitting, or to try to finish him off. Yeah. I was able to pick him off though once Pudge showed up. And the regen, it doesn't really seem to be paying off just yet, but once I start now that I have my axes maxed up, once I max Inner Beast, you're going to see how effective it is on the hero. Now this is why Helm of the Dominator is awesome on this hero, because now I have an extra beast that I'm able to keep with me. So I feel like I would have been better suited to just keep the Helm of the Dominator, but I do end up maxing it into a Satanic. Which can be nice depending on the heroes that you're fighting against. I mean, say if I was up against a Lifestealer, I might, and I was more of a, if I got uber farmed, or I had to do some more carrying almost, because the carries on my team weren't really up to snuff, then I would probably have to switch it into a Satanic. But just for the jungling purposes, I think you're better off with the Helm of the Dominator. It's giving you some more damage. It's giving you more creeps to go on towers with, especially once you get the necro book up. I think I ended up using him just to. I was trying to get some AoE damage here, but I think I just ended up feeding with him. I think I was having trouble with the macro. Yeah, I was macroing and I wasn't paying attention to my own guy. That's what happened there. That's why he got kind of caught. Also, I didn't have a lot of mana. I think I went on one of these guys. Yeah, I got Silencer, but I just stunned him to stop him from going on Jakiro. I knew I wasn't going to be able to fight all those guys. And luckily I got a haste, so I was able to get out of trouble. I think I went back mid to defend this tower, and here comes Silencer from behind, but the boar caught him. And that's going to be his end. That slow from that boar is deadly.
Radiant's bottom tower in a pretty sight right now.
And I think he misclicked there. He was trying to get that on me, but he got it on the hawk instead.
Trouble brewing at Radiant's bottom tower. Radiant structures.
That last word. Last worded my hawk. Unless he was just trying to get some quick gold before he died, I don't know. But I'm going to guess that that was a mistake on his part. Now I have quite a bit of farm. I think I might go straight Satanic here at this point.
Trouble brewing at Radiant's bottom tower.
Boy, fresh meat!
I'm not sure. I think what it would have been a lot better for me to do is to go right into necro at this point, because I would have had the boar plus hopefully a centaur or a hellbear and the necro warrior and the archer from the necro book, which would have provided quite a bit of burst. I would have definitely been able to go on towers and be a really strong pushing hero. But I think I end up doing quite a bit of farming, which again, it's not like necessarily a horrible thing with this hero, but it just depends on the game that you're playing. I mean, it's not going to be a necessarily common thing. And you see what I'm going to do? I'm going to sweep the hawk over.
Fresh meat!
And this is what makes this hero so strong. So now the ward's up, so I'm just sweeping it over, and I'm giving myself that forward vision, so I know that there's nobody in the jungle as I'm pushing forward. And he died, but no big deal. In 5 seconds I'll have him back up again. And a lot of people, again, they waste that hawk just sitting him over a rune spot, but that is a complete and total waste. There's so much you can do. There's so much additional vision you can gain by macroing it, that you're giving yourself basically safe farm. Like right here now I have safe farm. I can see anything that's in the woods behind me, and I believe I ended up pushing it forward to that same tower location so that I can have forward vision. So see, once you move it forward, now I backed off simply because I knew once that started to attack there, they would push on it. So just instinctually I knew to back off. Unfortunately, when I sent that forward, like, that guy caught it because I didn't have vision on him at the time. But that's fine. I ended up feeding a little bit of gold to him, but in the long run it's going to be okay because I'll get the hawk right back up and I'll send it right back over there. But yeah, now that this ward is back up, this ward placement is great because now I can see all around this tower. I see if anybody's here. I can see, like, almost the second they walk up these stairs and they start going this way, I'm going to be able to see them, and I can see a little bit back around the back side of the tower, so I can push all the way up here and on this tower safely with that ward where it's placed, because I have vision if they're going to come around for a gank from the backside. Now, of course, they can come from the tower end here, and they have, you know, a little bit of shadow where they can do that, but for the most part, I have safe push on this tower.
Radiant's top tower's hurting.
Now you can see I positioned a little bit better so I could see the back end of the tower as well. And I think I was coming through here to get a ward and also to pick up, I think, parts of the Satanic. I think that's why I came through. And grab this farm real quick. But managing your hawk and getting him up in the right spot, I think, is essential to this hero. It makes him borderline broken, really. I mean, it's so amazing to have that vision and to just basically always have a really good ward up with zero risk in placing it. To be able to scout out and to see, that's why he's quickly becoming one of my favorite heroes in the game. Again, doing a little macro with the boar to keep the boar behind me so he doesn't take damage from the creep camp here. And with that up, I have the safe push, so I can go ahead and push this lane.
Radiant's bottom tower ain't a pretty sight right now. Radiant's toughened up their structures.
And I think I was at a good place here. I think if I wouldn't have went Satanic, I would have had Necro and I could have pushed this. I could have solo pushed this tower like nothing. But unfortunately, I went with the Satanic. Again, I was still learning the hero. I think, again, Satanic isn't a horrible choice simply because of his attack speed, but it was like it's an unnecessary one. And I think I would have had more pushing by going Necro. I think I end up taking this down with ease anyway, but no, I don't. Yeah, if I had popped Necro there, I would have taken the tower down easily. So it's not that the Satanic is horrible, it's just that it's there's better options out there. And again, Satanic could work if you have a very heavy lifesteal opponent, like say a lifestealer that you're going up against, and you have to counter that because you're forced into being, say, more of a carry than a ganker style hero, which is what Beastmaster would normally be played as. But if you have to pay like kind of like a counter carry ganker, then it can be a viable option. Let's see. I placed the illusion over there because I was hoping somebody was walking through there and that maybe they would waste an ultimate or something on the illusion. That's the main reason I didn't need it as a ward. I figured I wasn't going to actually push on these guys, so I wouldn't actually need the damage from it. So I just stuck it over there so that hopefully somebody would see it walking through the jungle and they would go on it and possibly waste an ulti or waste some high mana intensive spell, and then they would be on cooldown and they would be less useful during a team fight, which is I think a viable use of those abilities. Yeah, I'm ducking the boat there. I'm going on silencer. Now, I'm kind of out of mana, but I could have probably went back through this. But there were so many people. I was just looking at the X's on the map. I think probably I could have picked these guys off a lot easier if I would have backed, though. Can't remember if I ended up dying here or not. Maybe I get out just in time. Yeah, I think I do get out on time. It's kind of weird. I can't even see the options. Like that screen that's popping up isn't even the screen that I have the tile screen in game when I was actually playing that shows everything in kind of a tile format that shows a very expansive menu of all the items, but it's showing like a simplified version of that right now during this replay, so you can't even really see the things that I was choosing.
Radiant's bottom tower seen better days. Radiant's bottom tower seen better days.
Now it's nighttime, so we lost a little bit of the vision off of that ward there. Because the night-day cycle will affect your ward's vision.
No breaking down the Radiant on structures like this. Radiant's top tower's taking hits.
Now, of course, the downside of building up to Satanic is that I can no longer capture a jungle creep and use him for pushing purposes. I think I was walking all the way back to base because I wanted to preserve my gold. I mean, I could have easily picked up a TP scroll and went back fast, but I think I was running all the way back just so I could keep the amount of gold because I was building up to my next big ticket item. And let's just get on with that.
Double kill.
Alright. I think right now I'm building up to Mjolnir. And Mjolnir's Satanic, they do have some synergy with the hero simply because already he has attack speed. And Mjolnir, obviously, once you get it completely maxed out, I can't remember the name of the basic hammer version. Before it's a Mjolnir, what it's called. I think it's called a Maelstrom. But the Maelstrom, it shoots out, I believe it's 120 damage proc every 4th hit that you do to a target. And then I believe the Maelstrom ups that to 150 plus gives you the ability to put an electrical shield on your hero. So, let's see. Yeah, Maelstrom, it does, 120 chain lightning basically every 4th hit. So that has some synergy because I already have fast attack speed, and then once I upgrade this Maelstrom into a Mjolnir, well actually now it has attack speed too. It's giving plus 25 attack speed. And compare that to the, what is it, the drum that it has as the suggestion item only gives like what, plus 5? So this does have some synergy with him.
The Dire disown their mid-tower.
So you're getting plus 25 plus every 4th hit. You're getting another 120 damage that's chaining to all creeps in the area. That's quite a bit of damage. Also in a team fight, it's quite a bit of damage if enemies are grouped together. And then on top of that, I'm getting the 25 lifesteal, I believe. Yeah, plus 25% lifesteal from the Satanic. So again, if I was going as more of a carry versus a guy like Lifestealer, which Beastmaster can be used as a hard carry or a hard counter versus a Lifestealer simply because his roar goes through magic immunity, then I think that the Satanic build is a more viable one, the one that I go with here. It just takes quite a bit of farm. Yeah, this guy's really bad ship placement. I think it's a testament to the fact that I didn't even bother dodging it because I just, and Pudge ended up saving his life there.
Radiant's top tower's hurting.
With that noob hook, but, or maybe he was trying to save my life because he thought I was diving too hard, I'm not sure.
Radiant's bottom tower.
But I would have been fine because I had the plus 25 lifesteal. I could have just come out, killed a couple creeps, and I would have been right as rain. Plus it jumps up to plus 175 lifesteal whenever I activate it. Now I backed off because there were quite a few guys there. I believe I grabbed this farm real quick and...
Radiant's bottom tower ain't a pretty sight right now.
We got Silencer coming on me, so I backed off. I know I die at some point in this game. I just forgot when I start dying. And I think I go on Rush here, which you can easily do with the Satanic. Yeah, now I'm building up the Hyperstone to make this into a Mjolnir. And I could definitely, I believe I can solo Rosh at this point with the Although I have Juggernaut that's doing the vast majority of damage there. But I believe later in the game I end up just soloing him. Which I probably could have done a little bit earlier. But I was concentrated mainly on keeping the lanes pushed up top. Again, I'm using that hawk placement, getting some forward vision, scouting out for my team. Very important. Which is basically giving my team the ability to push up that, because they know that there's nobody sitting there trying to gank them. So he's able to safe push in the mid just by simply pushing up the hawk there. Now I should have pushed it up probably to this tree line here, and then he wouldn't have gotten in that position. If I would push it up here, he would have seen these guys coming back on him. But, you know, again, I'm learning the hero, so I'm still making some mistakes. Yeah, I am moving it up here now to this high ground, and that gives me that high ground vision like a ward there would give me. And that's allowing me to come in here and farm these creep camps a little bit safely. Which is, you know, it's good for us because now we can deny them from getting those creep camps and getting the experience from them. So basically with our vision pushed so far forward, we're like cutting off this entire jungle here. Because we'll see them come into it and we can stop them from getting pretty much any experience. I mean, once we're taking this camp and they have nothing in the jungle, they're not getting, where are they getting experience from? Just whenever we push the lanes, from these two lanes. Between 5 characters, to just have that as their experience gain is, you know, that's a huge win for us. It's nice too where I have the hawk placement because he can't even get to it. I think blue was looking right there. He saw the hawk go over, but then he lost sight of it and he can't get to it. See, now I have the Mjolnir built, and Mjolnir, I believe it's what, 150? Yet it ups the chain damage from 120 to 160. And Mjolnir, I think, is that's something that I might do on later builds. I'm thinking like the build that I might settle on for this hero is to get maybe an early Helm of the Dominator, Necronomicon, but then move towards, say, a Heart of Tarrasque, because the Heart of Tarrasque gives you plus 40 strength, and obviously Beastmaster is a strength-based hero, so he's going to benefit from the strength stat. It's also going to give him more tankability, that the kind of tankability that I'm trying to get from in this game from picking up a Satanic, but you know, it's really not. It's not as useful as I might have hoped just for this particular game. So I think I'd probably go to Heart of Tarrasque, and then from there I can choose, do I want to go Mjolnir, do I want to go Radiance, you know, and then, you know, or just build up more levels of Necro Book to max it out at Necro 3. Which is another good strong thing, because Beastmaster can counter so many heroes, because one, he has the free ward, so he's countering a lot of gank heroes. He's got the ability to go through magic immunity, so he's countering heroes that have magic immunity, and then now on top of it he has the ability to pick up a Necro, which is then countering invis heroes. So he's just like, I really love this hero. He's just like a really strong counter to quite a few things in the game, but it's just a matter of how strong are you with macro. I mean, this isn't a really great example of macroing. I think I've done better jobs with macroing this hero in general, but I think I do some. I show some neat strats that you can do, especially with the ward, and some of the advantages you can get from it. You can see now, we see exactly where these guys are and what they're up to on the map just by moving this around. Completely changes that push. So now we see there's 2 guys up there. There's no way we're gonna run in here. Fortunately, I didn't see that ward, but they see me, which is weird because they don't go on me. They know I'm there, they just don't go on me. Okay, now they're going. Now they're trying to go, and Pudge just push forward. Can't remember exactly what happens here. See, now they've caught up to me, but I'm pulling back out. We have a couple guys push forward. And I'm pushing the lane so that we can go forward on their towers, but yeah, that was a bad position. Pudge is way out of position then. He was way behind the enemy line. And I was trying to get in a good position where I could help, but also have a route for an escape, but I wasn't able to do it in time before he got ganked. So I just went back to farming. I have no idea why Silencer thinks he can go on me right now, but it's not gonna happen.
Radiant's bottom tower ain't a pretty sight right now.
Yeah, let me see. How is Silencer doing in this game? Let's see. He killed us. Assist. Who's Silencer on this? Oh, he was actually a little bit higher than I was.
You know the drill.
But what was his level?
Fortified their structures.
Yeah, he was level 18. I was level 20. Yeah, that was kind of crazy for him to try to go on me. How was I doing gold per minute? I haven't really checked this. Yeah, I was going pretty good on that. Net worth, yeah, it's pretty good farming. Whoa. Net worth, game stats, there we go. Yeah, really not getting as much out of the Satanic as I would have gotten out of the Helm, because I could have had that extra creep helping me push. But again, the ward is really strong. So now I can see if these guys are going to peel back from mid and try to stop me. So knowing that they're not, I'm pushing forward. I have a lot of gold on me right now. I would have probably been safer if I had a, yeah, I'm pushing that forward so I can see behind the tower's position. I'm trying to decide where I want to stick it so I have the most vision in case of a gank. I ended up settling on there. If I was going to push that, I probably could have done it, but I would have had to have a TP scroll on me for a safe return. But with so much gold on me, I think I was just trying not to lose my gold and continue my farm. I think at this point I'm trying to build up to a Radiance. I'm just maximizing that idea of having lifesteal, the ability to do AoE damage around me and burn down things. So it's not as much as a tower pushing strat, which is more along the lines of what Beastmaster is typically played at, but it's more of a burn down team strat as far as this build goes. Get in the middle of the team fight, be super tanky, roar as many people as possible, and then just burn the living bejesus out of them with the Radiance, the Mjolnir damage, and the plus the burst from the wild axes, which again is more of a good counter carry build than a push. Gonna have the ward up so I have safe push on here because I can see them fighting at bot. I'm not too worried about it, and I'm gonna go ahead and push here. And I push that forward so I can see what's going on before I advance, just so I'm safe. And now once I see these guys fighting mid, I'm like, okay, well, I can probably go on this. And I backed real quick just to see what was going to happen. Also to avoid the tower aggro. And I can see there's 3 guys there. And I'm kind of deciding if I want to go, because I wanted to just see if anybody was going to go to stop that tower push, but since they weren't, I went ahead and went on it. Because I didn't have vision on everybody, so I just wanted to be a little safer before I actually committed. See, now I see Vengeful Spirits coming, so now I'm backing. Again, the wards, I got good ward placement, so I'm safe from any ganks. I know just from the team fight that was going on that nobody's coming from behind, so I go in here. Now, of course, Silencer comes on me here. Not exactly sure how this turns out. I think he might end up taking me out here. I think if I would have popped the Satanic earlier, I would have been fine there. I could have taken him before those guys showed up, but they would have probably ended up getting me anyway. But I think I might have been macroing, so I wasn't paying attention, or microing, so I wasn't paying as much attention. And that's how he ended up getting me there. But I could have probably ended up taking him there. Then again, with the silence on me, it makes it hard because you can't use your roar. I didn't have access to roar. I didn't have access to wild axes, so it took like half of my my burst away from me. I'm basically doing the pinging here to let these guys know where these guys are, or if they lose vision of them and the tree line. So it might sound annoying what I'm doing here, but it can be very essential if, say, you're dead, which I was dead right there, so it might sound like it's just, you know, some annoying noob like doing a bunch of pinging on the map, but I'm actually pinging because when people are running around trees, a lot of times you'll lose vision of them, but I'm pinging so that they know where they are. So I was actually trying to do anything I could to help my team, even though I was dead. So keep that in mind. Maybe try not to be quite as annoying as I was with it, because I was kind of rapid firing the pinging, but definitely keep that in mind that even if you're dead, you can keep map vision, look around. I don't do it quite as bit as I should, simply because pinging can be quite annoying if it's just done in a spammy way. But which I was kind of doing, spammy pinging there. But you can take advantage of your death in a positive manner by looking around the map and pinging enemy locations, anybody that you have vision on. Let's see. Let's see. I was able to take out quite a few of them, but you can see wild axes is greatly reduced in the amount of damage it's doing at this point in the game. Beastmaster is generally an early game hero. He's going to be way more effective at pushing the towers. That's why the necro is a highly suggested item for him, because it's helping him to build up and have more burst potential. as opposed to a this build, which it takes so much farm and is late game. I mean, these are the kind of items that if the game is going late, which this game is going late, so that's why you see such a drop off. You would generally see a drop off in the effectiveness of a Beastmaster, but because I have these items, I'm able to kind of be more effective a little bit longer, even though you do see like a drop off in the actual burst damage I'm capable of doing at this point. Roar is really effective still, but even surprisingly so, considering the fact that I don't have an Aghanims. But you can definitely see how my wild axes, they weren't doing a lot of damage even. I think I cast them on Tiny. It was just like such a little bit amount of damage, or such a little amount of damage that I got off it. But this is more of a carry build for him. This is more of a late game build. And I think that I don't get to show it off that much because I think we ended pushing here for the win not too long after I pick up the Radiance. But this is definitely like a really nasty build on him. Again, I think I would have been better off if I went with a necro for tower pushing, and we could have probably ended this a lot sooner than we did. But I was trying out some new things with this, and I think I was macroing, but I messed up some stuff here. Yeah. Yeah, Wild Axe a little late there. Just cutting through these jungle camps like hot knife through butter now with the Radiance. This guy he is all kinds of dead.
What is this? I came here for a battle.
Yeah, you can see that little fraction of health that the Wild Axes took off. Doesn't really scale that well into late game, I feel. I think compared to a lot of other heroes, they could probably buff the Wild Axes a little bit.
Radiant's mid tower's coming apart.
Fresh meat!
Then again, it might be a part of the balance in Dota is, you know, deciding which heroes are going to be strong early game compared to which ones are going to be strong late. So, considering his strength early, it's probably fair enough the way it is right now.
Radiant's mid-rags is out of the picture. There goes the Radiant's mid-rags. Radiant's mid-tower's getting banged up. Radiant's mid-tower ain't doing so good. Dire structures looking fortified.
Yeah, now I'm a beast.
Is this it?
Got electricity on, got insane attack speed, got a Radiance. I'm like, please come out of this fountain. Somebody come out of this fountain so I can just destroy you. But there you go. I really wouldn't consider this a Beastmaster carry game. This is, you know, because I really wasn't carrying. Jug was our carry. I did get quite a few kills with very few deaths. But again, most games you play, you're not going to be able to get that many kills and that much farm on the hero. I didn't really get as much farm as I could. Well, you could definitely get more farm, but farm through kills, you're probably not going to get quite as much with a Beastmaster. You might, but you're probably going to be able to get a lot of jungle farm. And again, this was more of a late game build on this guy. I was still experimenting quite a bit with the hero. But you can see the damage that my Wild Axes is doing. I mean, he's not a character that scales well into the late game with his abilities. So Again, this is a build that might work with him if you do make it into late game, so this is something that you can consider for yourself. I mean, maybe it'll work for you, maybe it won't, but I think I tried it a couple times with the Satanic, and I was able to do okay in late games. But this is an option for you if you have to go in as a hard, basically a hard counter to a carry. But for the most part, I think going the necro build, going the pusher build is preferable. Okay, this is 1-bit. Hope you enjoyed that game. Beastmaster. I'll be back soon with the last game in this series, which will be on Puck, who I love as well. Probably my favorite hero in the game, and I had a really good game with him on that, so look forward to that. As always, like, thumb, subscribe. Later.